Remember those days when American farms roared to life with the rumble of steel tracks instead of tires? Well, today we're going to count down 10 of the rarest American track tractors that most folks have never even heard of. These machines shaped agriculture in the 1900s, yet remain elusive finds for enthusiasts. So stick around and let's journey back to the heyday of American innovation on the field, where horsepower first merged with brute industrial might. Number 10, the Holt 75. Holt Manufacturing Company helped pioneer track-laying tractors long before the Caterpillar name emerged. Introduced in 1913, the Holt 75 was a juggernaut in its day, boasting approximately 75 drawbar horsepower, hence the name, and a robust four-cylinder engine. The Holt 75 was one of the earliest commercially successful crawlers used in large-scale American agriculture and even in military applications in World War I. In its prime, the Holt 75 revolutionized farming by dramatically reducing the risk of getting bogged down in a soggy field. Traditional wheel tractors of the era often struggled in muddy soil, but Holt's innovative crawler design provided far better traction. Each track helped spread the machine's weight over a larger surface area, minimizing compaction and slippage. This advantage quickly caught on in farmlands where conditions could be wet or uneven. Production ran until the early 1920s, and although Holt produced a respectable number of units, very few survived intact throughout the decades. Many were repurposed or scrapped after the war, which makes authentic Holt 75s increasingly hard to find. Collectors prize them for their historical significance, as they represent a turning point in tractor design and laid the groundwork for what could become the iconic Caterpillar brand. Beyond the thrill of unearthing a century-old crawler, anyone lucky enough to restore a Holt 75 discovers the roots of modern track technology. This model stands as a timeless artifact that embodies the transition from steam power to internal combustion, transforming fields from coast to coast. Number 9, the Best 110. Now, the Best 110, produced by the CL Best Gas Traction Company, embodies another crucial piece of the puzzle that formed Caterpillar. Founded by Clarence Leo Best, this outfit was a direct competitor to Holt in the early 1900s. The Best 110 debuted in the late 1910s with a high-horsepower crawler that was designed to manage heavy tillage and hauling tasks on bigger farms. With a rated drawbar horsepower in the vicinity of 110, which was substantial for the day, the Best 110 challenged the notion that track tractors were only for light duty. Farmers looking to break through ground found its tracks invaluable for distributing weight, giving it superior traction where wheel tractors bogged down. This reliability under harsh conditions paved the way for the unification of Holt and Best into the Caterpillar Tractor Company in 1925. Its large, rugged chassis, chain-driven tracks, and a big four-cylinder engine made it an impressive sight on any farmland. Yet the Best 114 never reached the production numbers of more mainstream models. Only a limited batch made it off the assembly lines, with many either worn out from constant heavy use or just scrapped. In modern times, these factors make any surviving Best 110s an absolute rarity. Collectors cherish the Best 110 not just for its scarcity, but for the story it tells of corporate rivalry, innovation, and eventual merger. It's a head-turner at vintage tractor shows, which often leaves onlookers in awe of its size and historical importance. Though overshadowed by the Caterpillar brand that emerged after the merger, the Best 110 remains a testament to the forward-thinking engineering of an era and to the spirit of American competition that fueled so many agricultural breakthroughs in the 1900s. Number 8, the Yuba Ball Tread. Produced by the Yuba Manufacturing Company of Marysville, California, the Yuba Ball Tread was a unique crawler that first appeared around the mid-1910s. Instead of using conventional metal plates in a continuous tread, Yuba's design employed a series of balloon-like sections or hollow steel spheres that gave its machine the name. The ball tread concept was aimed at reducing soil compaction and improving traction on soft ground. At a glance, it resembles something straight out of a turn-of-the-century experiment, because it kind of was. The ball tread was part of the wave of innovation sparked by the success of Holt and Best. American manufacturers scrambled to find unique track systems that deliver the best grip and minimal sinkage in mud. Yuba's approach stood out visually, but it didn't quite claim the robust longevity of a standard steel-linked track. Powered by a gasoline engine rated around 20 to 30 horsepower, the Yuba Ball Tread was marketed primarily to small and medium-sized farms. Its low profile and lighter frame were all intended to make orchard work and row crop tasks feasible without tearing up the soil. However, the complexity of producing and maintaining the ball sections hindered widespread adoption. Production numbers were quite modest, and the line was discontinued by the 1920s as more conventional crawler designs gained traction. pun intended. Now, today, spotting a Yuba ball tread in a museum or private collection is quite the genuine treat for tractor enthusiasts. Its rarity stems from a limited production, the fragility of its unique track system, and the fact that most farmers who took a risk on it eventually moved on to better supported, simpler crawlers. Still, the Yuba ball tread stands as a fascinating footnote, a prime example of how inventive American tractor engineering could get in the quest for better field performance. Number 7, the John Deere Lindeman BO Crawler. Now, when people think of John Deere, they imagine iconic green and yellow wheel tractors, but in the late 30s, the Lindeman Machine Works in Yakima, Washington, developed a crawler conversion kit for the John Deere Model BO, creating the Lindeman BO Crawler. Now, this specialized tractor combined the nimble design of a standard Model B orchard tractor with Lindeman's track system, making it better suited to rough and hilly terrain. Now, Lindeman produced these conversions under license from Deere, with the collaboration eventually leading John Deere to adopt crawler technology in-house. Production was relatively small. Some sources suggest only a few thousand units, and not all survived the decades. Orchards on the West Coast used them heavily, wearing them down until they were no longer repairable. Under the hood, the BO Crawler retained the 2-cylinder gasoline engine from the standard BO model, typically rated about 18 horsepower on the drawbar, and while this was modest by modern standards, it was enough for orchard and light farm tasks, especially when combined with the crawler's superior traction on inclined and soft ground. The track assembly was narrower than many contemporary crawlers, allowing it to navigate orchard rows without damaging roots or trees. Collectors praised the Lindeman BO Crawler for its blend of rarity and brand heritage. Rare enough to raise eyebrows at a tractor show, but still recognizable for its John Deere styling cues. Some restorers even tracked down orchard implements designed explicitly for this machine, further highlighting its specialized agricultural role. In essence, the Lindeman BO Crawler was a key stepping stone that introduced John Deere to crawler technology, providing a glimpse of how track systems could serve niche farming needs while upholding the company's reputation for durability. Number 6, the Allis-Chalmers Model K Crawler. The Allis-Chalmers Model K came onto the scene in the early 1930s, not too long after Allis-Chalmers acquired the Monarch Tractor Company. Now, this crawler inherited design elements from Monarch's earlier machines, but carried distinct Allis-Chalmers styling and engineering upgrades. The Model K was aimed at row crop and orchard tractors who needed a reliable track layer that could outperform wheeled tractors on challenging terrain. Under the hood, you typically find a 4-cylinder gas engine producing around 30 to 35 horsepower. The horsepower figures might seem a bit modest, but the Model K's advantage lay in its track system, which spread the tractor's weight for better flotation and traction. This allowed it to perform in wet, soft fields where wheel tractors would slip and sink, and many orchard owners, especially on uneven terrain, would find that the Model K had good stability, which was a major selling point. It could prevent rollovers in ways that wheel tractors often couldn't. But what sets the Model K apart, beyond its lineage and track design, are its relatively low production numbers, especially compared to Allis-Chalmers' wheel tractor line. The Great Depression era meant fewer farmers could afford new machinery, especially specialized crawlers, and many who did buy used them intensively. Consequently, numerous Model Ks were simply worn out. Surviving units are scarce, making fully restored examples genuine collector's items. Despite its rarity, the Model K influenced future crawler designs for Allis-Chalmers, paving the way for a more widely used HD series. Now, it's a testament to how a company can harness and acquire brands technology, like Monarch, and then refine it into a machine that meets specific ag needs. For vintage tractor fans who appreciate the transitional period of 1930s farm mechanization, the Model K stands out as a bold experiment that shaped Allis-Chalmers' enduring presence in crawler development. Number 5, the Minneapolis Moline AT Crawler. Now, Minneapolis Moline is best remembered for its distinctive prairie gold wheel tractors, but the company also dipped its toes into the crawler market with the AT, or All Tractor series, during the 1930s and 40s. While the AT line was primarily known as a general-purpose tractor, certain adaptations saw a crawler variant emerge, though in very limited numbers. This crawler was targeted at regions where deep mud or steep slopes demanded something more than regular wheels could handle. Power came from a 4-cylinder engine that generally ranged from about 30 to 40 horsepower, putting it all in the same class as other mid-sized crawlers of the time. But unlike industry giants like Caterpillar or Allis-Chalmers, Minneapolis Moline never fully committed to mass-producing track tractors. It was more of an experimental or special order product than a core lineup item. This limited commitment led to low production runs, which made surviving AT crawlers uncommon finds. In terms of design, it combined the front-end styling and engine components that were familiar to Minneapolis Moline owners with a track assembly adapted from third-party suppliers or in-house engineering prototypes. It had somewhat of a utilitarian look, lacking the finesse or brand-specific identity that was found on more mainstream crawlers. Yet for farmers loyal to Minneapolis Moline, owning a crawler version of their favorite brand was a rare treat. Today, the AT crawler is sought after by collectors who appreciate Minneapolis Moline's lesser forays into track-laying technology. Restorers often face challenges finding original parts, particularly for the track systems and final drives, since the company didn't produce them in large volumes. All these factors elevate the Minneapolis Moline AT crawler into that special category of tractor that merges brand loyalty with genuine scarcity, a nostalgic reminder that even big-wheel tractor companies sometimes ventured off the beaten path. Number 4, the Oliver Cletrac Model F. Cleveland Tractor Company, often referred to as Cletrac, was a major player in the crawler tractor market before merging into Oliver Corporation. Among its various models, the Cletrac Model F stands out for its unique balance of moderate horsepower and efficient track design. Released around the late 1920s, it came equipped with a 4-cylinder engine rated at roughly 20 to 25 horsepower, enough to handle row crop tasks, orchard work, and light plowing. By the time Oliver bought out Cletrac, the Model F was already gaining reputation for reliability and ease of maintenance. The track system used a distinct roller chain setup to drive the tracks, which made it simpler to service compared to more complex track assemblies found on some competitors. Though relatively lightweight, it was known for excellent traction and minimal ground compaction, an advantage for smaller farms with delicate soil conditions. The Model F had a relatively short production run under the Cletrac name before the Oliver transition, which contributed to its rarity. Many farmers who originally purchased the Model F used it for decades, given the brand's reputation for durable crawlers. But by the mid-20th century, as larger and more powerful tractors became the norm, the modest horsepower of the Model F led many units to be retired or scrapped. Today, a fully functioning Cletrac Model F is both a conversation starter and a slice of American agricultural history. Restoration enthusiasts often praise the model's straightforward mechanics, though sourcing specific parts can be a bit tricky. If you're lucky enough to see one at a farm show or in a vintage tractor parade, you'll notice how its diminutive size and distinct track layout set it apart from both earlier and later crawler designs. It's a perfect embodiment of Cletrac's philosophy. Build a tractor that works hard, sips fuel, and stays easy to fix. A trifecta that endears it to collectors even today. Number 3, the International Harvester T40 Track Tractor. Now, International Harvester's Track Tractor lineup served as the company's crawler offerings from the 1930s and onward, competing head-to-head with Caterpillar, Allis-Chalmers, and others. The T40 was introduced in the mid-1930s as a beefier successor to earlier models, featuring a gas or distillate engine that could churn out about 40 drawbar horsepower. The T40 aimed squarely at medium-duty farm and construction tasks. While the broader Track Tractor series wasn't exactly rare, the T40 carved out a narrower niche. It was more expensive than wheel tractors and more specialized than smaller crawlers like the T20. Many farmers simply couldn't justify the cost unless they routinely dealt with problematic soil or large acreage requiring track-based traction. Now, as a result, production was not as high as the more popular IH wheel tractor lines. Additionally, with the onset of World War II, material shortages and shifting priorities further constrained the T40 output. Underneath its robust sheet metal, the T40 had a sturdily built transmission and final drives, designed to withstand both agricultural and light industrial work. Yet it never achieved the iconic status of the larger TD series diesel crawlers that IH introduced in subsequent decades. Most T40 units worked with demanding conditions, forestry, road building, or heavy plowing, and thus faced extensive wear. Collectors who stumble upon a T40 appreciate its place in the evolution of International Harvester's crawling technology. Restoring one can be time-consuming, and given the scarcity of original parts and manuals, it's no easy task. But for fans of IH heritage, bringing a T40 back to life is a chance to preserve a piece of the brand's storied past. Few crawlers from that era combined such a practical design with proven reliability of an IH powertrain, making the T40 a hidden gem for crawler aficionados. Number 2, the Caterpillar 2-Ton. Now, manufactured from about 1928 to 1929, the Caterpillar 2-ton was one of the first crawler tractors produced under the newly formed Caterpillar Tractor Company, which emerged from the merger of Holt and Best. Despite wearing the famous Caterpillar brand, the 2-ton never achieved the high production numbers that were seen in later models like the Cat D2 or D4. The 2-ton generated about 20 drawbar horsepower from its 4-cylinder engine, positioning it for light to medium agricultural tasks. Weighing in at about 6,000 pounds, the 2-ton was agile compared to the company's bigger crawlers. Its design suited smaller farms or orchard operations that required track laying capabilities without the bulk of larger Caterpillars. The tracks provided excellent traction in loose or uneven terrain, and the relatively low horsepower kept fuel consumption down, a critical consideration for farmers that were transitioning from horses to mechanized equipment. Yet the 2-ton's production run lasted only a couple of years. Caterpillar soon realized the market's appetite for more powerful machines, and the 2-ton was overshadowed by larger, more versatile models. Many owners worked these tractors to the brink, as they were dependable but not built in large volumes. Over time, a combination of heavy use, limited parts availability, and Caterpillar's pivot to bigger designs spelled the end for most 2-tons. Surviving examples are cherished by Caterpillar enthusiasts who relish the machine's place in the brand's early history. Restoring a 2-ton usually requires creative part sourcing, sometimes drawing on later Caterpillar components or custom fabrications. For those who succeed, the reward is a compact crawler that offers a tangible link to the era when Holt and Best's legacies joined forces, forging what would become one of the most influential names in heavy equipment worldwide. Number 1. The Avery Trackrunner. Avery Company, based in Louisville, Kentucky, is known for wheel tractors, but the farm did experiment with track-laying designs. The Avery Trackrunner stands as one of the rarest outcomes of those experiments. Mechanically, the Trackrunner used a small to mid-sized gas engine, typically rated near 20 horsepower, and featured a rudimentary track assembly. Avery's engineers tried to adapt parts from their wheel tractor lineup, including the chassis and transmission, while incorporating an innovative track setup. The crawler that resulted was, on paper, handling tasks that could range from light plowing to orchard maintenance, but Avery's limited resources and the intense competition from established crawler manufacturers dampened the Trackrunner's commercial success. Only a handful were reportedly sold, often directly to farmers seeking a specialized tool for difficult soil or hillside operations. Many ended up in the Midwest and southern regions, facing heavy clay soils or hilly terrain. Production halted as Avery shifted focus back to its core wheel tractor business, leaving the Trackrunner as more of an experimental sideline. Now, in the present day, the Avery Trackrunner is a unicorn in the vintage tractor world. Very few confirmed units remain, and those that do often appear at specialized tractor meets, sometimes missing original components due to decades of patchwork repairs. Spotting one is a reminder of how even smaller companies jumped into the crawler race, hoping to capitalize on the new track-laying technology's promise. And for those lucky enough to restore or even see a genuine Trackrunner, it's a testament to American mechanical ingenuity and the willingness of small firms to push the boundaries, if even for a short-lived run. Hey, these 10 rare crawlers represent a fascinating cross-section of American agricultural history. They're more than just machines, they're symbols of a bygone era when companies battled for dominance with bold innovations and farmers demanded rugged tools to tame the land. We hope you found this video helpful and nostalgic, and if you enjoy digging up hidden gems from farming's past and you want to keep this memory lane rolling, well, be sure to subscribe and share this with other tractor enthusiasts. Your support keeps these stories alive for generations to come. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.